you mentioned there about your upbringing. Now you kind of had a similar upbringing to me, where you worked with your parents and you kind of helped out on the weekends and stuff. But you actually worked full time with them and then went to school. Do you think that was working on your brother's construction business? Was that what encouraged your love of lifting heavy and pushing yourself, or was that always there?
It definitely helped with my physique, because I started doing concrete form work at the age of 11. So by the time I was 14, I was very well developed. And although I didn't really get into weight training any serious until I was 18, I did toy with weights a little bit in the weight room in high school from 15 to 16, 17. But I actually joined the gym when I was on my 18th birthday, so just as I turned 18, and that's when I started my journey towards being a bodybuilder. But I always had a great physique. I learned a lot by reading books about bodybuilding and fitness. I had a love for it since I was 12. I was influenced by my sister's boyfriend, who she ended up marrying, so basically my brother-in-law. He was avid into lifting weights, and he used to have bodybuilding books, and I saw an old Muscle Builder magazine with Chris Dickerson on the cover when he won the Olympia back in like 81 or 2 or somewhere around there, whenever he won the Mr. Olympia. It was crazy, because I said, man, this is what I want to look like. But I think that definitely influenced me. But more importantly, it gave me the work ethic. I think you learn a lot about yourself through your early years. And I was taught always you need to work extremely hard. And to be honest, I was very, I kind of had a lot of hatred towards my family at the time, because I felt like I was the only kid that was working after school weekends and on school vacations while everyone else was living their lives. I was doing chores and I was working in the concrete. So not only did I have to work doing the concrete, but I'd come home. I had a lawn mowing job of, my dad had 4 properties at the time. So I literally had to take one day off from doing the concrete just in order to keep up with my lawn work in the summertime. Then of course we had chores around. We had a small kind of farm where, where I was chopping wood or, taking care of animals or, doing odds and ends, burning brush or whatever it is. So I would spend a lot of the weekend days doing that kind of stuff, and I was very limited on doing a lot of social activities. So in general, I mean, that kind of lifestyle is really what I explained through my bodybuilding career, is very, very antisocial, dedicated, where there was no, most people say, oh man, I got a text from a friend the other day. He's like, no, I'm just losing motivation. You didn't have that ability because you couldn't take your foot off the pedal, being from a young age and having a family business. There were no set hours. We didn't have restrictions. Oh, you can only work someone 40 hours a week or 8 hours a day. Shoot, we worked 14, 16-hour days a lot of times. I remember doing concrete under headlights at night because, listen, that's how our family made money. And that taught me a lot of dedication. I can attribute, still think I was one of the hardest working guys in the sport of professional bodybuilding for many years. And that outweighs genetics sometimes, because listen, our genetic limitations are only so much. And I just feel that, granted, I did have great genetics to put on size, but there were a lot of guys that had better genes than me that just didn't have the heart and the capacity to handle the workload it took to be the best of the best.